All right, so let's talk about your gut. How does your gut work? And what is this concept of leaky gut? So excuse me, I'm not a good artist. This is your intestine wall, okay? And this is all the food passing through. Now, the molecules of your food get absorbed into the bloodstream, okay? And there's a barrier, it's a protective barrier so that the good stuff gets through and the bad stuff does not get through. What recent science is exposing is that along this wall is a lining of bacteria. And this bacteria is very important to ensure that good stuff passes through and bad stuff stays stopped. So stress affects these bacteria. These bacteria are connected to us. That's a whole another chapter which I love. But stress affects these bacteria. This colony, this population gets compromised with stress. So when you have a lot of stress, you're going to have the bad guys come into your gut. And so the more of these bad guys that come in, that's going to trigger a response in your body, and we're going to talk about that. Let's jump onto the environment. So the environment, when you have a lot of processed foods, for example, a lot of refined foods, they also affect your gut. So when you don't have a lot of fiber, your bacteria don't thrive very well. So a lot of fiber, beans, these all help give sustenance to your gut bacteria. And I'm not sure what we should ascribe to toxins. So I learned that like lipstick and a lot of cosmetics have a lot of heavy metals. So what is heavy metals doing to bacteria? We don't know for sure, at least I don't know, but I cannot imagine that it's good for you. So regardless, a lot of this is now hitting your gut. And so when you have, this is supposed to be this frowning face, not the smiley face, but the opposite. So when you have a lot of this going in, you have bad antigens coming in, and there is a massive immune response. So all of a sudden, if there is a lot of bad stuff, let's just use layman's words, a lot of bad stuff entering your system, what's your body gonna do? It's gonna attack it, right? So as it starts to attack it, if there's too much of this, the body loses the ability to distinguish between what's right and what's wrong. And therefore, a leaky gut has often been said it's a precursor to all autoimmune disorder. You first have this, and this then leads to an autoimmune disorder. And I loved hearing that this is probably why that so much stuff has entered into your bloodstream or into the areas that it's not supposed to be. So much bad stuff has entered that your body triggers a massive immune response, and in the cloud of all this bad stuff, it starts attacking the good cells. Okay, like you can argue that I'm wrong. Please put that in the comments too. I'm just suggesting to you or proposing to you what I read in the book, and it makes sense, right? Like it sounds pretty good. So this is the thing that the two key factors we found that I want to at least make you remember is stress and environment. And to fix your leaky gut, you have got to take probiotics. You have got to replenish your flora and fauna inside your gut, also called the microbiome. You've got to rebuild that microbiome. Antibiotics, we Indians take a lot of antibiotics, that destroys the microbiome. You've got to take probiotics to rebuild it. And I'm not trying to sell you anything. We do make a lot of natural probiotics. If you want to learn how to make them, put them in the comments below. Of course, if you want to buy them, then also do put that in the comments or find a way to contact us. So I'm going to cover the rest of what this book says because I'm a geek. And whether you like it or not, I just want to tell you where I think this book makes a lot of points, which if you're really suffering from thyroid, you might want to know. And if you're not, then this part is not interesting to you. So she has a liver cleansing protocol, which she says you do that for 2 weeks. And then an adrenal protocol for 4 weeks. And then a gut rebalancing protocol of 6 weeks. So firstly, it's 12 weeks. Which I don't know how many people are going to be able to follow a program for 12 weeks, especially if you're doing it at home. What I do like is she talks about liver detoxification and removing toxins from your digestion. But again, I think that's something we should do all the time. It's not just a 2-week process. But when we get to the adrenal part is where I start having some issues. So for example, she says, hey, to relax your body, to reduce stress, you need to ensure you get good sleep. And not just for 4 weeks, but continue it on into the 6 weeks. So for someone who has not been sleeping well for God knows how long, I don't know how realistic it is to say, finish your work early, sleep enough for a 10-week period. I'm not saying that she's wrong. I think she's very genuine and this might be her own journey, the author's journey. But I think for me to tell my cousin, hey, sleep well for 10 weeks, she might not be able to do it. So I also find that this protocol is very long and that there would be few people out of 100 people that read this, I don't know what percentage, are going to be able to implement all of this. So, I'm going to continue reading another book on thyroid disorder and give you some takeaways. That's how I build my knowledge and create kind of a synthesis of a lot of good things. But this is again a review of this book. I've already shared with you some of the good points that I learned, and I think those hold a lot of merit. I think the things that I didn't like so much about this book is how practical is it for most people who are suffering to do this. But yes, if you are suffering, do reach out to me. I've read the whole book. I'll tell you in more detail about certain things to do here. And thank you for watching. Hit like and hit subscribe and support me in helping everybody I know become thinner, fitter, healthier.